How's it going? So in this video, I want to talk about how to be a confident hockey player. I want to break down step 3 and step 4 because this is part 2. The first video we talked about how to be confident, and we looked at the first steps in terms of understanding focus and understanding mental filters. In this video, we want to talk about the emotional identity and the thought identity that we have about ourselves. Okay, so first of all, let's get clear on what the hell I am talking about. So when I'm saying this, and when I'm talking about like the subconscious identity, when I'm talking about these things, what I mean is what we do subconsciously is we have an emotion that comes up as a result of a situation. So I'll actually add in a piece to this. So let's add in a piece of text here, and we'll say situation. You guys can see I'll adapt on the fly for you guys. So we have a situation, right? That situation then causes us to have a reaction. So we'll have a reaction to that situation. That reaction is automatic. It's a subconscious thing that happens, and it's an emotion that starts it off. Then we have a thought that comes very closely after. It pops up like boom, boom, right away. So then we have an emotion, a thought, and then we act based on that. So what we want to understand is that, okay, so the situation, you can't always change what situation you're in on the ice. Something's going to happen. But what you do want to understand is you can rewire your emotions, your thought patterns, and your actions. And what happens is we also want to understand our emotions and our thoughts impact our actions, and our actions impact our thoughts, our actions impact our emotions. All those things kind of link together. And they all come together to make up a whole bunch of different neural links is what I call them. Your brain is just a mesh of all these different things coming together. And it's your subconscious identity. And your subconscious identity is who you are as a person. It's who you really, truly believe you are deep down. And that's what we're going to touch on here. And understand that what we're trying to do in Identity 2.0 is to get you free of all these things, because our body is addicted to feeling certain emotions on a cellular level. Our body's used to whether it's sadness or depression or fear or anxiousness. Our body gets used to those feelings. It gets comfortable with those feelings. And the more comfortable we get with it, we stay that way because our body wants to feel more and more of it. It's just like when we eat sugary foods, our body wants more sugary foods. This is what our dopamine system does. It's basically when we feel dopamine, when it goes into our brain, what it's really making us want is more of whatever we just had. So what happens is that when we feel negative emotions, though it seems like it's just negative, it gives us like a little payoff because our body's so used to having these hormones pumping through our bodies. So when we get in, not just hormones, but a whole bunch of different chemicals and things, these chemicals, our cells actually get used to these chemicals, just like a drug, just like people get addicted to other drugs. And we want more of it. So we'll keep feeling the same emotions over and over again. So what happens is when we go over here and we look at the emotional identity, this is what I'm referring to. How you feel about yourself at an automatic level. So it's the emotions that come up automatically. It's not the emotions that come up sometimes. It's not these conceptual things. No, it's like, what are the automatic things that come up when you feel, or when like certain things happen? Like when you're in a situation, you wake up in the morning, what's the automatic feeling you have? When you're on the ice and you make a mistake, what's the automatic feeling? When you get the puck, what's the automatic feeling? We got to reframe these emotional responses in order to change our minds, in order to change our game and to become a different player. We have to change our emotional identity. So understand that you got to get to what emotions come up in different situations. You want to rewire those and get very clear on how to, because you've already went through focus, you've dialed in your focus, you dial in your mental filters, you understand, okay, boom, we need to do this. So what to do? Get into a self-hypnosis state. So go online and literally just search up self-hypnosis. Just follow a really quick thing. You can find a bunch of different videos. If I find a good one that I want to show you guys, I'll put it down low. I'll also be making different videos, so make sure you subscribe because I'll be making more videos about like self-hypnosis videos that you can actually use, and also make like other things like that. If you want all this stuff in just a workable system, I have an entire system that you guys can use, but I'm not trying to sell you here, so don't worry about that stuff. Now, what I'm really saying is that You want to get into a self-hypnotic state, a state where your subconscious mind is open and it's susceptible to programming. If you've ever studied hypnosis, basically this is what happens. I've studied hypnosis for years and I understand how this works, and I'm able to actually help players to program this stuff into their subconscious mind. So what you want to do, you get into a self-hypnosis state. I call it a programming state, one where you can program your mind, and then you ask yourself, how do I really feel about myself as a hockey player? And you really feel it. Ask yourself that and feel it. And who am I deep down, on a deep down subconscious level? Not when I'm trying to pretend, not when I'm trying to sound cocky or confident to other people, not when my coach asks me, not when my parents ask me. Who do I really feel like? How do I really feel? Where are my insecurities? And let those bubble up to the surface. Because as you start to get that, what you're going to get is the emotions come up. Then you're going to notice we transition over here to what are the thoughts that come up. Now you're starting to get into, okay, so now, I'll pop this over. Now you're starting to get into, okay, so now what I have is I'm starting to get aware of, these are the emotional programs that come up for me. It's a program it's like when you hit a button on a computer and something runs, that's a program. And this is what happens on the ice. We hit a button, somebody, literally could just like punch us, and now they hit a button and now we're mad. So that emotion comes up. Then we have thought patterns that come up. We start thinking certain patterns. These thoughts become our thought identity. They're who we actually believe we are in terms of thinking in words. Who do we think we are? The emotions are like, this is how I feel consistently, but the thought identity is who I think I am. It's the story around it, and we touched on that in part 1. So again, make sure you go watch part 1 if you haven't, and understand that this is, how do I think, and I should say about myself automatically? How do I really think about myself? Like, what are the thoughts I have? Am I good? Am I a skill player? Can I make plays? What you start to understand is that you don't really have a lot of positive patterns in your mind, at least for most players. I know for me, that's what I discovered is, wow, like I have a lot of negative stuff going on. And again, these things don't go away instantaneously when you become aware of them. But when you become aware of them, you become aware that they're not you. You aren't these emotions. You aren't these thoughts. These are just things that have came in, and they're just like, it's just like if you have a, I could put this on my head or whatever. Like this is here, right? And some people might say, like, this is the emotion. Some people might say, oh, I'm the emotion. No, the emotion just is here. Like you just have it right now. So when it goes away, it's like, okay, that's not me. And a lot of times that's what happens. We identify with our emotions and our thoughts, and that's what crushes us. I hope this is helping. If this is helping you guys, leave a comment and like so I know this is making sense to you guys. If something isn't clicking, again, leave a comment below so I can answer more questions specifically about this. But that's how it looks. So you ask yourself, what thoughts do I routinely think about myself? Who do I think about myself, or how do I think about myself automatically? It'd help if I could read. But what thoughts do I routinely think about myself? What is going on there? And then what to do? Same thing as we did with this section. What we want to do is get into a self-hypnosis state. That's what you want to do. You want to get into a self-hypnosis state. And then ask yourself, how do I really think about myself as a hockey player? Like for real. How do you think about yourself? And who am I deep down? And what thoughts come up? If you can do both of these things by finding a good self-hypnosis thing, if I make one and post it, which I'm sure I will, so comment if you want a self-hypnosis tape that could actually like get you into that state, then ask yourself, how do I really think about myself as a player, and who am I deep down, and what thoughts come up? Do these two things. Get clear on these things. Go back and watch part 1, understand focus, understand how those things tie together with the mental filters. And if you go from focus to mental filters to emotional identity to thought identity, you master these 4 things, you will never be the same player again. You will be more confident than you've ever been in your whole life. You will see things that you've never seen. You will train harder than you've ever trained, and you'll be happier than you've ever been in your life. So do these 4 steps, get started. And if you want more help with this, leave a comment. You can always send me a message. There'll be a link that you can go and check out whatever my latest program is. At this moment, it's the Identity Mastery System 3.0. This program is awesome, and it comes with access to a mastermind, the Next Level Academy Mastermind, which is going to have a whole bunch of unreal hockey players all together in one place. Players in minor hockey in the AAA level, players in junior hockey working their way into college, college players working their way into pro. It's going to be an unreal network of players that are going to be sharing everything they're learning. I'll be sharing everything that I create, all the exclusive stuff that you guys don't see on YouTube will all be there. Structured courses. I have over 10 programs right now inside of that. Tons of awesome stuff. So if that interests you, feel free to check that out. If not, just subscribe if you're enjoying this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.